What is up with the squad? It says your favorite auntie with Uncle Tendencies in the building. Happy New Year's Eve, y'all. Happy New Year's Eve, man. For those of y'all pulling up, rocking with us, man, hit the like and the share. They both right there. Hit the like and the share. They both right there. Political Lil, what is good, fam?
Hey, another a year down and another year coming through.
A year down and a year coming through. That's what I'm talking about. Hold on 1 second, y'all. I don't know why. StreamYard, of course. Hello, StreamYard. It's almost like you got to tell StreamYard hi or something. It's okay. StreamYard is here too.
It wasn't free advertising.
Yeah, hey man, hey, we here. Political in the building. Marvin, what's going on? What is going on, y'all? We appreciate y'all pulling up and hanging out with us. Listen, y'all, I got a lot of stuff going on today. We gonna be Gamecocks. We got some Gamecocking coming up at 6:00. We got the New Year's Eve hangout coming up at 11:00. But we couldn't let this year go by without leaving with some knowledge. Got to drop some knowledge on y'all on New Year's Eve to go out and come back in. So y'all going in. Welcome to our final PoliSports Tea Time of 2025, y'all. And really, before we go any further, we want everybody to be grounded, protected, and moving into 2026 with intention. Hey, whether you pulling up, wherever you pulling up from, man, take care of yourself, stay alert as we close one chapter and prepare for the next. This year on PoliSports Tea Time, man, I was blessed to have the opportunity to start this off with Political Lil and go beyond surface level sports talk. We were able to break down power, labor, economics, media influence, political systems through the lens of athletics. With you all engaging with us and helping us have this conversation. So I'm just so grateful for that opportunity. Together, y'all, we've examined how policy shapes opportunity, how narratives are manufactured, and how fan behavior reflects larger social ideologies. This first stage of our PoliSports journey has been about political education through sport, studying the system, not just the scoreboard. And listen, we really do appreciate how everybody's been locked in and thinking critically with us and been willing to have these uncomfortable conversations. In this final episode, we're going to unpack the WNBA season in review. This was a year. I mean, listen, it was lightning in a bottle. Undeniable growth, generational disruption, hard truths that the league can't ignore. And we're going to talk rising viewerships, merchandising, rookie impact, media framing, racist fan backlash, inconsistent officiating, labor tension, and a growing conversation just around reparations for the pioneers who built this league under inequitable conditions. Okay. It's hoops going on today. UConn is taking care of business. Oklahoma State is up on Baylor. UCLA didn't put Penn State in a hurting. So it's a lot
buried.
Buried, okay? I don't know. The product, I don't know. We're going to have to figure this out. But this is going to be a full circle analysis of not just what happened, but why it mattered, who benefited, and who absorbed the cost. Chat is open as always. Y'all get in there and be active. Audience chime in. Conversation belongs to the community as always. And I'm not doing this alone. When it comes to power, policy, leverage, and sports, I always bring in someone who understands the stakes. Joining me is my partner in political sports analysis, sharp, strategic, unafraid to name the systems, Political Lil. What's good?
What's good, Auntie Cess? Cess always coming in like the system owes her money. And it does. What's up, everybody? Thank y'all for rocking with us tonight on New Year's Eve and our final live for 2025. But this year wasn't just talking about sports. It was about understanding the machinery behind it. You know, the politics. We talked a little bit about the economics and the racial contracts. And, of course, the narratives that try to box in Black women even when they're playing the game and dominating. And y'all pulled up every time, drops information in the chat, and we appreciate those voices being added to our conversation here. So we appreciate this particular community because y'all just didn't come here for the clap for the wins. Y'all clocked the inconsistencies with us. Y'all asked the questions the press won't, and you held a space for athletes who get criticized the hardest while trying to carry the league the furthest. So thank you all for being a part of PoliSports accountability culture. This is stage one. We're building a table of advocacy and activism to protect our queens. And you all already have a seat, so we definitely appreciate that. But right quick, let me drop something in the chat for you all. Tell us a little bit about how y'all felt about the league this year. Talk a little bit about the rookie class, any media controversies that you saw, what y'all thought of the fan backlash and the CBA tension, and what do you think is going to happen in 2026? Are we gonna move forward and grow, or we gonna wind up having to fight a court battle to get a fair shake? Let's hear from y'all, in the chat there.
Yeah, y'all let us know. Let us know. Do you think the league leveled up, but the backlash was loud? Rookies brought excitement. The league needs new leadership, not beholden to the NBA. I agree with that, KB. I mean, and that's something we talked about. The media tried to handpick the face of the future. We had out-of-pocket fans. The league was sold to step in on stuff. I mean, listen, we saw it all. And y'all keep that coming in. But go ahead, Lil.
Look, we're gonna move right on down and cover all of these things that went on in the league. It's very, very important for us to talk about it as we go towards this historic year, I think, that's coming in 2026. So Cess, roll it on out. Let's talk about the tremendous growth that we had in the league this year.
All right, and while I do that, I'm gonna drop a question in there. What friction did you feel most during the league's growth this year? So I want the chat to think on that. Was it media saturation, lack of accountability, CBA stall tactics, something else we ain't named? Y'all let us know. I want to go. We're gonna go here. And let's be clear about tremendous growth. The WNBA didn't grow in 2025, y'all. That's what I need people to understand. It broke containment. Okay, the WNBA broke containment in 2025. Viewership surged past what they said was unmarketable. Merch moved even while narratives tried to gatekeep fandom. Arenas filled, sponsors leading in, and the league proved it's an economic engine and not a charity case. But the truth is this: growth without protection becomes extraction. Visibility without accountability becomes weaponized narrative. So Black women drove the momentum. Champions and dominant vets carried the league, but the spotlight stayed selective, familiar, safe, controllable. And when racist backlash followed that visibility, the league offered statements and not systems. No enforcement, no deterrence, no protection. That's the gap. Money went up, accountability didn't, and that's the tension. That's the real story of 2025. So, Lil, do you see this media narrowing more as a market strategy or narrative containment tied to race politics in real time?
You know what? The media narrative, that's really like a mix of both. But the racial dynamics are what is central. On one hand, the league wants predictable, safe narratives that sell, the broad audience. But on the other, this selective coverage, sidelining Black women's stories, achievements, and influence, effectively containing the narrative to fit an existing social, racial comfort zone, is not neutral storytelling. That's deliberately shaping who gets visibility and who remains on the outside. And that was the biggest media problem that we had this year.
And then economically, can the WNBA afford to grow this fast while refusing to protect the players most responsible for the culture and financial lift? That's the thing that they gotta think about.
Growth fueled by Black women without adequate protection or recognition inherently makes the league unstable. See, players are the foundation of viewership, the merchandising, and global attention. And if their labor isn't respected and appreciated, then morale and retention suffer. So ignoring their needs creates structural risk, backlash from people like us who don't appreciate it. And then now you got labor unrest. And you have reputational damage. Kathy Ingram, with her marketing racism, has caused a lot of reputational damage to the league. And that could ultimately undercut the very growth that we trying to push forward and celebrate.
Thing for me is that, and I see UKB, that you can't take out what's there, right? I see you say they can't mayonnaise a chocolate dominant league, but the arena of greatness will still be dominated by those rich in melanin. But I guess the thing for me is why would you want to? These are the things that make the league great. It's the diversity. It's the athleticism. It's the culture. It's the engagement. It's all of the things that these different women bring to the league that make it great. And it's frustrating as hell that they can't see that. But I think Lil, I think you wanted to focus on some of the rookies. So let's look at some of these rookies.
You know what? You know, when you ask the right questions, because growth ain't free and somebody pays for it. And so in 2025, we saw that bill land on certain players, especially Black women who were driving the culture and rating. So that media narrative of containment, it dressed up like marketing, but it was timing, and the uniformity and outcomes make politics impossible to ignore. And now the league can't afford to grow while credibility leaks through racism, silence, and stall tactics. So you got a good rookie class that, to me, has expanded, because I was not expecting the rookies to emerge into stars as quickly as they did with this particular class coming in. And I don't think the league expected it either, based on the way that they were giving up draft picks. You had several teams give up lottery picks.
Oh yeah, they didn't expect this talent to be where it was at. It was like, okay, they didn't see the talent coming in this class. This was supposed to be like a down draft class almost. But you look around, and these kids came in, and they were instant stars. It was almost as if they had minimized them in a way. It was like there's Paige and then the rest of them. So you didn't expect to see Isaiah James. You didn't expect to see Sanaya Rivers. You didn't expect to see JJ Quinterly go from West Virginia and show up down there in Dallas and be making an impact when Ty Harris goes down. Nobody saw Kitron coming. Nobody thought Sonia Citron and Kiki Ola we're going to be the next new favorite duo, right? Nobody saw that. Anissa Morrow carving out her three, and this, she's not a 3 or a 4, she's a 3.5, but she's carving it out right there and making them respect her for that, right? I didn't see that coming. That's the stuff that's exciting about this league, and that's the stuff that they're watering down and taking away from what makes it good. And it's like they want to keep going with that same old. So I'm happy that at 2026 we're here and we got this rookie class putting pressure, but we also have these other outside pressures that are going to ultimately either make this league be better or maybe go away. I don't know.
Hopefully no. Hopefully it won't go away, but we definitely gotta have some things change.
I mean, listen, it was huge. 2025 was a huge year for this league, and it wasn't smooth. Shit, look at it. It wasn't smooth. Ask Asia. It didn't look like a championship earlier in the season. It didn't feel like no championship was coming, and then 16, 17 in a row happens. 30 and 20 happens. I'm gonna score. I think Asia, did she go over 1,000 points this year, or could have? You had injuries, you had people out. We had all of these just stuff continuing to happen. But again, the game continued to grow, and that's a huge shout out to the players who continue to grow through the bullshit. I mean, it was more money, it was more eyes, it was more hype, but it was more backlash and more narrative battles. The growth showed that the league is ready for the spotlight, but not always ready to protect the players in it. And that's the piece that we have to get to. My biggest friction points were media leaning too hard on one storyline, racist fans getting emboldened, and the CBA talk just dragging like molasses. Now, look, either we playing basketball or we not. Shit, now let's get to it. Growth was loud. Accountability was not so much. These organizations, these leaders, these coaches, these people in charge, being willing to throw players under the bus, ridiculous. But I want to focus here on media for a second, Leo. Let me know, do you think the media leaned into one rookie as a shortcut, or was it just deeper than that?
You know what? What they tried to do was a repeat of what they did in 2024. But, and focusing on a single rookie, that's not just inconvenience. That reflects a deeper bias in storytelling. If you highlight one player narrative, then and directing it towards your audience and your advertisers, but you're erasing the contributions of stars like Centron and like Kiki, you know, they had storylines that could have been bigger, you know. And so to me, this approach prioritizes marketing optics over equitable recognition. And so that reinforces who gets celebrated and who remains as background noise. And for you to take 2024 and go through the media with that lingering she got to be seen narrative, giving that person 41 games, and then trying to run all of the focus onto your next white rookie, you know, that you had a whole lot of storylines that kind of got left on the sideline. And I think some of the players, like you look at the stud buds, they had to step up and create media. Them kind of things. You have a constellation of stars in the league. It's ridiculous for you not to market all of them, because that's what they do with the men. You know, they market every team got 2 or 3 stars that you could really do storylines and marketing. You know, for you to still be trying to follow up. I mean, the people were not happy about what you did in 2024, and then you're gonna double down and come at us like that in 2025, making it look even more ridiculous.
You know, Lil, and it's something I see repeated all the time around women. You know what I mean? It could be a whole bunch of male stars, but it can only be one good female rapper. It can only be one good female singer. You can't have Rihanna and Beyonce, but you can have, you know, Teddy Pendergrass and Luther Vandross and Alexander O'Neal. You can have, all of them can be just a singing, whoever they are. But then it's like it can only be one woman. Yeah. And women by nature, we really don't get down like that. We have to push back on these narratives. I see us. Hey, straighten your crown, sis. I want you to be just as good, as great as me. I'm not out here like I'm better than anybody else, but we allow those narratives to be pushed like, oh, you can only like one. Either you a Cardi B fan, or you a Glorilla fan, or you a Meg Thee Stallion fan, or a Lotto fan. Like, what if you got a playlist and they all on your playlist?
Exactly.
And a little Omeretta the Great, right? So more than one thing can be true, and we have to push back on this. You can like Asia Wilson and Courtney and Paige and Okikiola. We can support all of these different women and like different things about them. We get caught up into this just one. Either you like Angel or you don't like nobody. Either you like Caitlyn or you don't like nobody. But I don't like Caitlyn. And that's not personal. It's nothing personal. I'm not a fan of Caitlyn Clark. I'm a big fan of Paige Beckers. I'm a big fan of Sonia Citron. I'm not a Caitlyn Clark fan. I'm not a Sophie Cunningham fan. They don't bring me to but somebody is a fan of them. You like them, cheer for them. But I want to see commercials of everybody.
Yeah.
I want to be able to see the people that I support and the people that I like being able to get these opportunities. It's the Caucasianizing of America. Too much non-male being popping since Michelle became the most credentialed first lady in history.
That's a good point.
Good point. I hadn't looked at it like that. And again, and this is why we have these conversations, because there are always these different lenses that we can look at these things through. Real talk though, Lil, can a league grow like this without protecting the players who built it?
No, no, you know, growth without protection is really precarious, and the league expansion relies on the labor, talent, and visibility of these players, and neglecting their welfare risk burnout, backlash, and labor unrest. You know, the WNBA has a lot of dissatisfied fans out there. So if you're gonna have true sustainable growth, you're gonna have to give proper financial incentives, media exposure, and institutional support to these players who drive the league and the culture, and who are actually the economic engine. You can't afford to try to one-dimensional or tunnel this league when you're trying to expand it globally. You got all kind of different people globally, you know, and it's not about putting out that supremacy mindset. It's about, you know, having an entertainment product that all people from all kind of cultures and races and backgrounds can really enjoy. So if the league continues to press on these other young ladies with other emerging leagues, then people just gonna be like, well, okay, this might be the the so-called top league with the top players, but I'm gonna go play someplace else and make myself happy, because this makes players unhappy, and it gives them a lot of stress that they shouldn't necessarily have.
But not only that, Lil, I mean, great. I love that. Great points. Not only that, this is one of the most diverse leagues, right? But the other thing is, these women really get along with each other. These women really are culturally diverse. These women really do lean into each other. They really do have relationships where they're supporting and collabing. I mean, Paige and Angel, is they in an Oreo commercial?
Oreo cookie. They doing Oreo cookie action.
So we can get it there. Yeah, well, there's levels to stuff. But what I'm saying is, these young people are collabing and getting to the money. These young people is like, hey, what can your brand do with my brand, and let's get to the motion. And we got to be more like that. I want to talk about some of these rookies real quick, because the league was fighting narratives. This rookie class was fighting for respect the right way, and this is the second rookie class that came in kicking in the door like, we ain't gotta wait, we here already. So the 2025 all-rookie team came in swinging. Paige Becker's out of Dallas, all-star year one, cooking. Sonia Citron at Washington. Oh, Kiki Ariafin at Washington. Dominique Malonga. Janelle Salon. Paige led the headline, sure, but the rest of this group proved the league's future has more than one face and more than one style.
Yes.
Right? So why do you think the 2025 rookie class didn't get the same draft hype as 2024, even though the talent was clearly there?
The height gap, I don't think, was about talent. It's about narrative priorities. The media and the league focus often chasing storylines that they feel are easy to sell. And so they leave equally talented players kind of in the shadows. This 2025 class initially got a lot less attention because the spotlight was monopolized by what they, a market-safe narrative than recognizing the raw talent and ability across the board. I was kind of shocked, like I was saying before, at the number of clubs, organizations that were willing to give up picks. It was like they act like these kids was coming off the playground or something. You think about Chicago getting rid of the Centron pick and how her ability could have played with an Angel Reese this year. That was really shocking. And then positioning Washington, to have all of these top 10 picks, and look what they were able to build. And I think if they hadn't lost their guard, they might have even made some noise in the playoffs. So that's just the league linear thinking and the inability of that commissioner to think outside of the box or to be committed to diversity within the league. And I think the political climate, because it changed between 24 and 25, I think that played into it too, with all these corporations so scared of what was happening at the top of the heap, that they just willing to change any thoughts that they had. Like the person was going, act like the Gestapo was going to come by and shut it down. It was really just ridiculous and crazy.
Exactly. And how much of the rookie success came from landing spots, like the coaches, the orgs, development systems they stepped into? How much you think the success came from that?
You know what? The landing spots did matter a lot to me. When you got supportive coaching, good organizational stability, and strong development program, that could amplify the rookie's impact and the fact that they got to play significant playing time. You kind of left this old ideal that a rookie should sit and wait, which I think was initiated by what both CC and Angel did in 2024. But it was a number of rookies that got some real impact time. So I thought that was very important.
Yeah, I want to stay on the landing spot for a minute, because we saw the Mystics be able to hit the ground running with a very young core, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you look at this and it contrasts of what Chicago was able to do, and you say, well, goodness, how do you end up in this situation? Because you had an opportunity, Chicago, to have Sydney here. right? And so it makes you kind of, it made me kind of lock in on organization to say, goodness, now damn, Sydney, you left out of Chicago and went over here to Washington and had this success. You could have had Sonia Citron, right? With that pick that you had, Sydney Johnson and Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso in Chicago. Thank goodness for Sonia Citron, it didn't happen like that. But it made me key in on the organization and say, well, dang, now Chicago, why didn't you take Sydney? And at first that's what I was thinking. And then I was like, maybe it wasn't that Chicago didn't take Sydney. Maybe Sydney didn't take Chicago. And so
that's probably what it was.
Right. And so you get a chance. It made me kind of just really, it put the Chicago Sky on a kind of on a hot seat for me. You know, you haven't been able to get the coaches in there that you need. You haven't been able to show the leadership that you need. You had 2 rookies start last year. You haven't been able to show any success with that. And then on the flip side, you had to watch the Mystics hit the ground running. And if they don't make the trade that they made, sending Slim to Seattle, the Washington Mystics maybe are in the playoffs with a very young nucleus, and draft picks stacked up. KB said they just a trash ass organization. I think you talking about the Sky. But it called into light some of those things. And now we're looking at these organizations a little closer. It made the fans look different. You look at the Golden State Valks. You come in $50 million to get you started. Now you had a $550 million valuation. Meanwhile, the Chicago Sky still ain't figured out how to get a training facility, right? So it made us really looking. It put a spotlight on the WNBA to say, what are you doing with the money? What are you opening up the books? And then what are the standards to be a good WNBA organization? And is the WNBA holding these organizations accountable? So a lot of things came to light. A lot of things came to light. We had lawsuits going on. We had we had teams move, we had players moving around, we had enforcing going on, blatant disrespect for officiating, blatant disrespect for the police holding keeping everything calm in arenas. So we just saw a lot of stuff. Were there any all rookie team snubs this season that the league or media didn't spotlight enough, as far as you're concerned, Lil?
Yeah, several of the rookies contributed at a high level, and you mentioned the young lady from Dallas and that young lady from Connecticut. I thought both of them could have made the rookie team, and then I don't understand why they not kind of putting a few more spots there now that they got the teams expanding. In other words, you could have you have a rookie team and then a second rookie team that might have given you an opportunity to promote a few more of those rookies that really were in the top 10, top 12 slots. You might have given them a little more shine. So we could talk about that all day, but I thought they the first 5 I thought were pretty good, but I thought two of them, you could have switched up. James from Dallas and the young lady from Connecticut could have easily been on those rookie teams, and I think they should have.
I mean, and then we had just we had Monica Cole McConney started out there in Phoenix a great deal.
Did. She was good.
We had a great deal of rookies that came in. And it's the last one. Did this class prove the league misread the draft evaluations, or did opportunity just outperform the skepticism? What do you think there?
I think it was a little bit of both. And because you got to understand, the talent is coming a long way. These girls are getting more opportunities at the high school levels, even in 8th grade and stuff for training and development. So I think that some of the organizations underestimated the talent of these young ladies and did not do a good job. For Chicago to have passed on Citron, for what she did, that's absolutely coming from pure incompetence and the inability of the GM to understand how to evaluate talent. That's the biggest miss. Just looking outward. But everything is subjective too. You know, ESPN predicting, different things that other people weighing in, but you could tell that across the league, there's a lack of talent scouts really dedicated to crafting talent to come into this league. I mean, you passing up a lot of homegrown talent looking overseas. I mean, Chicago even taking that number 10 pick and picking some person that's unavailable, which I think is something that needs to be corrected. If you're not ready to play, don't waste a draft spot. Someone else could have got that spot and that could have, made that team better. So, I think future drafts may have a different outcome, but the league need to be dedicated to bringing on a slot for scouts to really help these teams out. Because my understanding is that Chicago has no scout at all. And then you have somebody who has a limited infrastructure in the GM, and that's going to make for poor choices.
Not from the Sims. I'm not with you today, KB. KB is on fire in the chat right now. KB on fire in the chat. KB on fire in the chat. So listen, the league exploded in 2025, but the coverage shrank. And Lil, I think some of it is just they don't know how to cover. Everybody needed to take a book out of the Golden State Valks.
Great job.
Book. Period. I mean, from they filled up Chase. I'm just so impressed with what they were able to do creating this, because what they're doing at Golden State is selling an experience. Take a book out of the Atlanta Dreams experience. They are selling an experience in Atlanta, Las Vegas, selling an experience. These places where you go and whether the game, even the product on the floor is good, but everything else about the experience is good. Especially when you got people spending $22 for a hot dog and something to drink. They need to feel, they want to feel like they got their money's worth, right? You want to see a good product on the floor, but you also want to feel appreciated as a fan. And that was what was supposed to be the big selling thing about the WNBA. And we got to get back to that. These women are great ambassadors for the game. And they're doing a great job of getting their coverage out. The media, we got to hold the media accountable and show them who we want to see covered. They crown one face instead of telling the whole story, and that wasn't elevation. That's a shortcut.
Yeah.
While Caitlin is dominating screens, the champions didn't. There was no reason for me to still be looking at Caitlin Clark when she was out hurt. There was no reason. That's not if whoever it was. If you're not playing right now, it's not helping move. It's not helping move along the product on this floor. Now, I'm not saying that you don't still run her endorsement commercials and she's shooting from the logo and all that she was doing with State Farm and all of them, but the Asia commercials, the Paige commercials, the Nafisa commercials, the Satu commercials, dig into some of these rookies. Camila Cardoso is a global brand. Janelle Solana, global brand. Layla Lakana, global brand. There's opportunity to collab and grow differently. New York Liberty, they faded. They weren't even talking about the Aces dynasty. And Asia, reigning MVP, she got treated like she was some background noise. It was like, y'all remember Asia? Do y'all remember Asia? She had to go get 30 and 20. You had never seen that in the league before. She had to go win 16, 17 games in a row. How are we not talking about that? She dropped. I want to say Asia dropped a new colorway every other 2 weeks on her shoes and in her collection. These are great things. Let's make sure we get that coverage out there. But the WNBA was built on constellations, not a solo act. And so when the dominance gets ignored to protect comfort, that's when the growth turned into mismanagement. See, here's the thing though. Rabid racist revenue is not sustainable. That's not sustainable over a long time. They crazy for going after that money, and that's the goddamn problem. Lil, do you think the media bet too big on one story instead of the league?
Oh, absolutely. The media, we know it prefers that single marketable storyline over the full picture, but focusing on one narrative, that simplifies the coverage and it sidelines the league's broader story. And then many players that's driving its success. And it might be good for some temporary ratings, but it's not a comprehensive plan to grow the league. because you don't have one fan base. You have a diverse fan base, and a very passionate fan base committed to diversity. And when you just, I'm gonna focus in on these certain people, and then I'm just gonna ignore you ignoring other people that's spending money. And after a while, people get perturbed. They get pissed off about spending their money and then not being able to see or hear about or acknowledge the product. The players that that give the diversity and have other people come. And after a while, you just gonna be looking raggedy out there. That's all I can say.
But you get tired of the same old, right?
Yeah.
You get tired of the same old.
Yeah, that saturation model is just not it.
And
that's a bad model.
I think that we've grown as a society and a fan base, and we are more enlightened, and I think more engaging, right? And I think we do a really good job of letting them know what it is that we have interest in. Stop overlooking that. Stop forcing shit down our throat. Stop forcing stuff down my throat.
That was a big thing.
In 2026, I'm just telling y'all stuff that it's some stuff I just ain't buying into, right? I'm not a fan of that type of basketball. I'm not tuning in for that. But we also had other competition, other venues to be able to watch basketball that became a little bit more popular that the WNBA better watch out for. The league fans may have grown, society at large not so much. But that's the thing. I think that society has grown, but society ain't saying shit. That's the problem. Society didn't grow, but it's the same 7 people talking. That's the real problem. It's the same 7 people talking. If we don't stop asking them 7 motherfuckers, stop asking them, because they don't speak for us. Society, and this is what I be talking about our social media currency, pushing back on narratives, using your hashtags, being engaging, how we spend our money. The WNBA got bigger in 2025, but so did the racism. Black women disrupted the preferred Black women who disrupted the preferred headlines, man, they took a hit. Backlash wasn't random. It was loud. It was digital. It was coordinated, and it was largely unchecked. Players carried the league's growth. The league didn't carry them back. Statements aren't protection. Tweets aren't enforcements. Fans want consequences. Players want safety, and the league has to decide: shield the stars or sacrifice them to keep the peace. What y'all doing? Figure it out. Was the league too slow responding to racist fans this year, Lil?
Oh, absolutely. The league's response was often, it was just reactive. It damn sure was minimal. Giving the impression that Black players' safety and dignity were secondary. That's what they put out. So speed and consistency matters, and that delayed action that the league put out on the incident that happened in Indiana and this, that, and the other, and then to cover it up like the people that experienced it, was stupid, ignoring, these type of things. That kind of signals where their priorities are. And of course, when you hear Kathy Ingram, think that racism sells, and that should be some a proposition that you put forth, then you kind of know where it comes from. But it creates a lot of conflict because other people don't want to be disrespected. Other fan bases don't want to be disrespected like that because everybody's money is the same color. It's and $85 ticket is an $85 ticket. I'm spending my money. I want to be respected, and I want to see the players that I enjoy watching be respected as well. And then when I know when some safety issue comes up in the NBA, Adam on out there. Y'all got to chill this down. Y'all got to bring the tone down. Blah blah. He at least saying something. Kathy sitting back talking, but this is a good marketing scheme. It's kind of ridiculous.
Oh, it's more than ridiculous, right? But this is Kathy. We've talked about it. Kathy said, agents say I only know Kathy when she give me my trophies. All right, so this is a leadership that's not even trying to build relationships with the voices and the faces of their league right now. The people that are bringing the fans in, and it is a combination of players. It isn't just one player. The people that's tuning in to see, because this ain't a one player type of sport. It's a team game. So everybody's not coming to see the same player. A lot of people are coming to see Asia, but it's a lot of people coming to see J.O. too. It's a lot of people coming to see Kayla McBride. It's a lot of people coming to see Nafisa Collier. It's a lot of people coming to be able to see Alyssa Peely. People coming to see Letitia Amir. All of these women have great stories, and all of these women are worthy of being covered in their own right. And there's a way to cover them all without stepping on other people. We got regional coverage you can do. You got special coverage you can do. You get out here to these games, and the best time for y'all to start covering them is during the halftime. Please stop showing an orange screen. You understand?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? This is the opportunity. This is how the NBA grew. Right, you would hear them little, Ahmad Rashad Saturday. Saturday it was inside the NBA, inside the WNBA. You were getting to know these players, getting to becoming a part of who they are and how they grow. The WNBA needs to do a better job going into 2026 of partnering with these women at the college level to build that type of relationship going into their professional careers. If they want to stay the viable league here. Now, I know some people may not want to, and J-Spot made the point last night when we were talking about Arrival. A lot of these women may not want to go to the Project B because they still don't want to play overseas. Although playing overseas may look a little bit different now, and depending on the money that they play and who all is in the league, it may attract some people, but they have more opportunities out here. Not only that, they're building brands and creating relationships that don't have them needing to play basketball for 5 or 10 12, 15 years. Some of these women can play basketball 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8, 10 at the most, and go on to their next career. They're being owners in leagues. They're creating brands. They're creating businesses. They're creating collaborations. Take advantage of what's going on right now and build this thing out. This can be different than any league that we've ever seen. But we have to get the NBA the hell out the way.
That's the main culprit.
get this old regime out. Does the WNBA, Lil, have a responsibility to penalize platforms and people when players get targeted? What are your thoughts there?
Oh yeah, absolutely, and that's essential. These platforms and individuals that enable or amplify these racist attacks, they contribute to a hostile environment. Now, if you as a league are not going to do anything about a hostile work environment, then you opening yourself up to a legal Title VII violation. You have a responsibility and expected to make sure that the environment that your employees are playing in is safe. So, accountability isn't just ethical. It's necessary to protect these players and to preserve the integrity of the game. Because if you start having stupid stuff happening at these stadiums, around the stadiums, because once a racial thing, that can blow up and blow out, overnight. And you may wind up with an incident not only in the stadium, but as people are leaving and going to their cars and stuff, and they could be possibly being attacked, because once people get into that mob mentality, they lose all sense of who they are or what they're doing. And so you creating a danger not only for the players, but for the fans who are giving you a paycheck, so to speak. And so the league is going to wind up with a bunch of lawsuits if they don't try to rein this environment in, or if they, continue to contribute to amplifying racism by not putting in any policies or mandates, banning people from stadiums and stuff like that. You got to do something, because, like it or not, the basketball court is a work environment for the players. It's not some some jungle that they have to survive in.
The league didn't protect the player. The league didn't protect the players nor the optics. I agree. I haven't watched ESPN since that super cool. What? SAS called Kyrie an idiot for not jumping to take the vaccine, but was hushed when Aaron lied about taking his. Oh, you ain't watched it in a while. Okay. But again, and we have to be able to push back on these platforms. right? These are the platforms that are pushed out, you know what I'm saying, as being the go-to for information, the go-to for sports. And it's like KB is saying, a lot of this stuff is going to have to take place at a grassroots area, at a grassroots level. And I don't think that the WNBA really realized, like, hey, y'all really are still grassroots, homie. Y'all barely 30. You know what I'm saying? Like, the WNBA out here walk around like they old as the NFL. Y'all not. Okay? Y'all not. Y'all not even old as the NBA yet. But y'all are in a position to be better than all of them because they came before you in the way that we originally set this thing up. To be grassroots, to be women-led, to be family involved, to be pro fan, right? These were all of the things that were supposed to be better about this league that made it different than the rest of those leagues. Y'all got to get back to that. Let's move on to something else that bothered me about this league. That goddamn referee whistle.
Oh man.
That whistle was inconsistent all season. Possession to possession, quarter to quarter, Cash App hit, Zelle hit, depending how it went. You know what I'm saying? When the officiating shifts momentum instead of reflecting play, legitimacy takes a hit. And I just felt like too many times in games that really mattered, the referees wanted to be the star. We're not here. Nobody's coming to see y'all. To me, the sign of a great referee is for me not to notice them. If I don't notice you, if it's nothing that I remember about you, if I don't remember your hairstyle, your number, if I don't remember those things, then you are a great referee to me. If I remember your number, if I know your hairstyle, if I roll my eyes when I see you take the floor, that means you're not doing your job good. The bias wasn't always in the miss either, y'all. It was in the goddamn standard. Physical black players get policed differently, while the broadcast softened it as a style. Inconsistency kills trust. And trust is the one thing you can't hemorrhage while chasing $1 billion growth, right? You got to be able to trust that we on our way to the money. I think FanDuel sponsored the referees last season. Oh, God. Maybe DraftKings can get it this year. I don't know. Lil, did officiating impact outcomes more than the league wanted to admit?
Definitely. These inconsistent calls and this bias in interpretation that affected really key games and player momentum. It was often tipping the scale in ways that the league wanted to downplay. You think about the incident that happened with Angel Reese at the Indiana game. That's a perfect example. So the impact goes beyond a missed call. It's shaping the narratives and the competitive legitimacy. The bottom line is people not going to pay for a product that they think is rigged. After a while, people want to trust your product. This is a consumer product. Someone is consuming this product and they want to trust that the best thing is going on. And when they see that you using college officials, you have not come up with any type of system to or academy or something as a training apparatus to move these officials from being hustlers, running around hustling, that proves to your audience that's paying that you don't care about how they the money that they're spending. I'm not coming to see an amateur referee call a professional game, and so that's bad business on their part.
Well, they should at least respect the refs enough to invest in them. Give me a full-time job. Now I got the DoorDash and Instacart and see if I can drop a few people off with an Uber ride on the way to the game and get a high school game and a college game and a WNBA game to keep my lights on. And then I'm reffing on Thursday night in Indiana and I'm reffing on Friday morning in San Francisco. So I'm on a red eye. I'm tired. I'm not doing professional development. I'm just hustling. I'm out here. What they call it? With the DoorDashes and them. You know what I'm saying? I'm like an Uber Eats driver. I'm a gig economy. I'm a gig economy person. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here with Uber Eats and stuff. I should be able to say, this is my job for the year. This is the training that I'm going to do. This is the professional development outside of this required training that I'm going to do to stay relevant in officiating, right? And this is how I'm going to continue to grow and add back to the product that we putting on the floor. But the refs have no reason to invest. because they're not being invested in.
Mm.
I mean, it's not even a full-time job. I got to see where I can fill in. It's like it just says to me that the WNBA is very unserious about the seriousness of the business that it can be in. It's very unserious if you haven't hired full-time referees. Yeah. It's like I'm gonna open up a restaurant, but I'm gonna see what cooks come. Like you know what I'm saying? This is we have to have the cooks here. The game doesn't happen without referees. We want the very best referees. I want the very best quality of everything that I put on the floor to be top shelf. If I'm supposed to be the premier league in the world, in the world, the best refs, the best talent, the best fans, the best merch, the best experience, the best engagement. They're not trying to do any of that. But ticket prices keep going up. Hot dog prices keep going up.
Getting whacked over the head on the drinks.
Whacked over the head on the drinks. You got to pay for parking. You got to pay for all of that. Officiating was extremely inconsistent. When the game would get exciting, the refs would destroy it by making themselves a spotlight. Not giving more text to the bench mob was blatant bias. It was a lot of. Wow. I seen a lot of stuff go on. Another thing as we continue to move through, and we're gonna be wrapping here soon because we got Gamecock coming up and New Year's Eve, and we got hoops coming on, but we had to have this end of the year conversation, and I'm not gonna let this conversation end without talking about the fact that the WNBA has 0 Black female head coaches by the end of the 2025 season. It wasn't reduced, it wasn't limited, it was erased. In a league built on Black women's labor and marketed through Black culture, that outcome it's not accidental, y'all. And I'm going to keep talking about the fact that this is structural. Replacements told the story. They went with NBA adjacent men, male college coaches, international male hires. We didn't see an investment in Black women already in the pipeline. We didn't even see an investment in women in the pipeline. Experience didn't disappear. Legitimacy got redefined. And that's not basketball logic. That's power consolidation. Okay? So this mirrors a broader pattern across sports and corporate America. When pressure rises, institutions don't expand opportunity, they centralize control. So call it what it is. Gentrification strategy, whiteness, male authority, outside validation prioritized, Black leadership treated as disposable. And the silence around it, that's not neutrality, that's permission. Patterns don't lie, even when institutions refuse to explain. Why does the league's elimination of Black female head coaches reflect broader societal trends about who gets to hold power in sports, Lil?
You know, it's a mirror and a broader pattern where leadership and authority are concentrated among men. Even when the league went to the expansion, you know, that was all male dominated, you know, and so that's something that's going on politically that people, you know, I said before, they're just folding when I don't think they have to. You know, these spaces should have been built for Black women. And access to power, you know, of course, that's not neutral. So you have these structural biases, you know, dictate who they deem to be qualified. And it indicates to me that they feel like women are not qualified to coach. So we got to bring in men because we bringing in more money. But that's not what your fan base want to see. I don't want to see a league dominated by males, white or Black. You know, I want to see these women being able to be coached by someone who has had their lived experience. You know, and that's a big problem. And I think the fans owe it to themselves to push back on that and let the league know, you know, through the wallet that this is not what we want to see. We want to see women get an opportunity, but that seems to be across America right now. It is trying to put women back in the kitchen and back in the house. You know, watching soap operas. They act like they don't want them anywhere. And this country was supposed to be built on diversity. To me, it's going in the other direction.
Great point. Chat, y'all let us know. How does the WNBA's coaching shift compare to trends you've seen in other sports or corporate spaces? And y'all let me know, do you believe the league could reverse this trend? And if so, what steps is necessary? Y'all let me know. The 2025 WNBA season make one thing unavoidable. The league is in a labor crisis, Lil. And these deadlines didn't move because solutions is close. It ain't like, ooh, we almost got it. Let's extend and that ain't what the hell's going on. Hell no. They ain't even, I don't even know if they still got each other's phone number. You hear me? They ain't, you know, they ain't even answering emails no more. These deadlines moved y'all to test patience, unity, and leverage, right? The growth got celebrated. $1 billion media deals got announced. Players generating that value got stalled. That's not negotiation, that's containment. And this ain't about bonuses and optics. This is about control. And I've been saying this since we started here. It's about control. Basketball related income is the line. Revenue sharing is the line. And ownership they drew it deliberately. Players see it now. The fight isn't symbolic anymore. It's structural. So when institutions stop listening, the labor got to respond. So the WNBA is standing at this exact crossroads. Why do repeated CBA deadline extensions signal more than just negotiation challenges? They reflect deeper systemic power plays. Lil, why is that?
You know what? Repeated extensions, that's a classic stall tactic if you ever study labor wars in this country. And so they designed to test the players' unity, exhaustion level, and maintain control. I mean, you saw it at the USA basketball game when you had a player of Caitlin's magnitude step out and talk about compromise on both sides. You know right then that they're using that tactic to try to wear these ladies down. It started to get them divided. Now it wasn't 100% of them voted for the strike, even though 98% was a pretty large number. But you could see them trying to use this stall tactic to fracture, these ladies bargaining. So they're not looking to find solutions. They're looking to consolidate their power and influence the outcome. And this is why I think it has to be settled in the court. And I have said that from the beginning.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The fight is structural, right? Looking ahead, the direction is clear. No movement on BRI means no trust. No trust means no stability. Labor history is consistent. When power refuses transparency, workers withhold the labor. A strike isn't chaos. That's the leverage, right? That's the leverage. I see Green Thumb saying sports imitate society, and this society doesn't like powerful black women. The greatest insult is that black women are propping up mediocre men by serving as their assistants. If ownership believes the league runs without the players who built it, that belief is about to get tested, y'all. Without revenue sharing, accountability, and real partnership, 2026 season is not guaranteed. This moment isn't about patience anymore. Again, this is about the power. So how does litigation function as a strategic tool for labor to correct systemic inequities in professional sports, Lil?
You know what? Litigation forces transparency and accountability. They get into that litigation situation, them books going to get open. Then we're going to really start knowing what's going on. So when these negotiations stall or the pattern of exclusion persists, the courts have to step in to provide a platform and challenge structural inequities. That's what Title VII was designed for. So that makes the power dynamic visible, and it forces the NBA to potentially get out of the WNBA business to the point where they're controlling everything. And I think that that's a great option for these ladies to try, because some kind of way you have got to get them from having controlling interest in the WNBA, I believe, for that league to function and for these women to prosper in that league.
Oh, yeah. Ultimate disrespect to heck. You said a yoga coach. Before we close, y'all, we need to name what's overdue. Reparations for the WNBA pioneers, right? Black women built this league under suppressed pay, erased visibility, and zero equity. If Title VII or antitrust pressure enters the CBA fight, reparations aren't radical, they're remedial. That means money, leadership pipelines, and institutional acknowledgement baked into policy, not nostalgia. This isn't symbolism. We talking about correction right now. This conversation is just getting started, y'all. Got an announcement with some breaking news. Political Lil is launching the B-Wise PoliSports podcast with a mini-series titled Legalized Theft, breaking down reparations, labor extraction, and how the league profits from history it refuses to repay. Y'all make sure y'all are giving B-Wise PoliSports podcast the follow. Lil is dropping her channel going into 2026. We cranking up the heat on them. And that's just not sports talk. It's going to be power analysis. Lil, congratulations to you on
Thank you.
channel and getting ready to drop that. I'm looking forward to everything that's coming in and being able to support however you need. What would reparations for WNBA pioneers actually entail, both financially and structurally within the league?
Reparations, that's going to include some back financial compensation for these pioneers to correct these past inequities, guaranteed leadership opportunities, formal recognition programs. I don't want to hear about I'm on the 25-year team and then there's no paycheck attached. So structurally it would establish a pipeline to ensure that Black women have real influence in the league. Our pioneers should be in coaching, management, and governance. They're not even in ambassadorships, and I think that's a miss on them. So that's the main thing. We want to see these ladies that established the league be able to have some benefits, some kind of pension, some medical benefits. Right now they don't have anything, and I think that's one area that the union should be fighting to get included in this CBA.
Lil, yes, congratulations, Lil. How can reparations reshape the narrative of the league, its labor dynamics, and the visibility of Black women in leadership?
You know what? Reparations, that would shift the league's whole story. Because when you go back, there's a type of sadness that when you see these ladies, having to, not having the shoe deals, not having the talk shows, not having the income beyond their playing years like you see with the males. So I think it would elevate Black women as central figures, strengthen labor influence, and create a pathway for leadership, rewriting the league's culture to honor those who built it. That's the most important thing, and the thing that this league is not doing. They are not honoring the young ladies who kept this league going so that you can have an Angel Reese, a Caitlin Clark, and all these people coming in benefit. Now, if it wasn't for these pioneers holding up the league, it would have folded, years ago.
Exactly. So true. So true. Listen, y'all. We have broke down the 2025 WNBA season beyond highlights and box scores, followed the power and not the PR. We saw Black women erased from coaching, labor stalled while money surged. We named how growth masked extraction, how silence protected systems, not players. And we made one thing clear. This league runs on Black women's labor, but not their authority. That's the pattern.
And as we head into 2026, it's clear the fight isn't over. Legal avenues like Title VII and antitrust framework can serve the league and to demand fairness and reparation for these pioneers who built this league. And as fans, your support matters. The Unrivaled League is setting a new standard, giving players ownership and voice. And your engagement can make this possible. So I want to encourage you all, do not, fall off following Unrivaled. Advocating, supporting, and holding these institutions accountable is how change happens. So PoliSports Nation and BY's PoliSports Podcast, check out that mini series. Got some good music playing behind it. And so I'm going to be unpacking these issues and hoping that they will add that on to these CBA negotiations and getting a settlement for these pioneers that are still living and still fairly young and need those benefits.
Now, y'all remember that mini-series is going to be Legalized Theft. Legalized Theft. BY's PoliSports Podcast, first mini-series, Legalized Theft. Be on the lookout for that. Y'all, that is it for tonight. Enjoy your New Year's Eve. If you're not coming back to hang out for Gamecocking or our virtual party, y'all stay safe and keep your head on the swivel and get ready to come back swinging with us for Black women athletes in 2026. The name of the channel, name of Lil's channel, BY's PoliSports
Podcast.
BY's PoliSports Podcast. BY's PoliSports Podcast, y'all. Remember, sports is never just about the games we play, but the stories we tell and the systems we expose. If you're serious about support, y'all, listen, join the Respect Our Game advocacy group and PoliSports Nation, because visibility without action changes nothing. We head into 2026 focused on the CBA, because fans are the pressure point that can shift this economic system. We're giving you the PoliSports knowledge. Now it's time to move with the purpose. Y'all stay tuned. Talk soon. That's Political Lil. Let's talk sports, y'all. We out. And we on
Happy New Year! Happy New Year!
We on their next. Let's go. Happy New